I wasn't aware of the big changes I was going through. So, depending on where you are at, if you happen to feel a certain way about yourself, check a bit the context around you. What's the context? Are you supported or not? What's your energy level? What do you expect from yourself? What is happening in your life? Maybe that is not visible, but it's still moving. Maybe it's not the things you expected. And for me, I know this first year of motherhood, many things have evolved and moved through me, but that were not visible. Welcome to the inner space. This is for you if you need encouragement to be more yourself and explore your own path. Maybe because you feel different, too sensitive, or just not able to do things as everyone else seems to. There is a way, and it's your unique way. I'm Gloria Jansen. I am a coach, a healing artist, and a surfer. I am here to help you ride the waves of life, work, and business to find that deeper alignment with your creative and sensitive soul. If this feels like you, I invite you to know yourself better, feel all the emotions, and trust yourself, so you experience the freedom and fulfillment of being and doing you. Subscribe now to catch the next wave to the inner space, where authenticity sets you free. This episode is for you if you would like to go a bit deeper into ripening the fruits of last year. If you feel I need to reflect more on the gifts I've developed and the wisdom I gathered so it can be integrated and support my further expansion, because I'm going to do exactly that exercise live for you. It's not prepared, so that maybe you feel inspired to do it yourself. So that's one way to approach it. You have the questions also in the show notes that you can already open if you desire. And another way to present this episode is seeing how I moved myself through harder feelings during the year and shifted my perspective on myself. It talks about motherhood because that has been mostly what my year was about. Again, you don't have to be a mother to benefit from it, because you will have experiences that will resonate with you. For example, around social media comparison, feeling not productive, feeling like you don't have energy. Like, there are bridges that you can create as you listen to me. So I wish you a beautiful episode. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Share it if you sense a mother, future mother could benefit from it. I wish you a good and enjoyable, interesting, insightful moment with me. I am going to share about the experience and the wisdom I've gathered being a mother for a bit more than 1 year. And I feel motherhood, it's not just I feel, it's sure motherhood starts with the pregnancy. And if you've listened to my episode around pregnancy, I had 2 pregnancies. So one that ended after 8 weeks, and then a break, and then another one. So I feel pregnancy has been much more than 9 months for me. And motherhood, the postpartum period, has been, I would say, a real prolongation of that experience of the pregnancy. I feel pregnancy is really the perfect preparation for motherhood. And I wanted to reflect myself, what have I learned during these years, or at least last year? And then I asked myself a few questions that I'm going to read out loud, and I'm curious myself what I'm going to share with you. This is a very spontaneous setup. So the first question, and how I did that, I asked AI to ask me questions that would help me reflect, because I'm integrating more and more AI. I'm doing actually a boot camp as I'm recording this episode, which is like intensively diving into AI so that it supports me best. And I can clearly tell you, as I dive into this, it's really not about making AI like create content or imagine something for me. but it's about sharing all my perspectives, the newsletter I've created, the podcast episodes, my work, so that it's helping me with my unique lens to see things I haven't seen. For example, here, ask me questions that reflect also my approach. So I've done it first with one AI that doesn't know me much and another one that knows me better. And you know what? I invite you to do the same. If you need still to value what you've experienced last year, you can ask to receive questions and then reflect on them either in a written way. I know some people prefer to write. Maybe you want to do an audio or a video. That's another exercise. I know video is not so easy, it's a practice. But at least write or do an audio, and then you can even ask AI, what do you hear from what I've shared? So I believe it's an interesting exercise to like deepen and understand, yeah, your year. And you can do that, of course, for other things. So here I am recording this episode from the depth of a little village in Austria where my mother is from, where we are really in a valley. So in the morning we have the sun, and later afternoon it comes down because it's hidden behind a bigger mountain. So appreciating the sun when it's there, reflected by the snow, the fresh air, and because it's very recluded, like the village is really far from any city. There is no light on the streets. We really see the stars. There are not many cars. You really hear and feel in nature. So that's all the energy I'm also bringing through this recording for you. The purity of where I am. It's purity in the sense of the air is not polluted. It's super clean. The water has the most amazing taste. I don't know any other place where it feels so qualitative, the water. And if I compare it when I drink it in Miami, it's a bit different. So really appreciating how all the elements in nature is nurturing me, and I hope it to support you as well through my words and what I'm going to share, though it's going to be about motherhood. So the first question I was asked is one of the hardest moments. What was my darkest hour this year? That moment where I felt most depleted or lost, and what got me through it, and even if it was just for a few minutes. So that's an interesting question, and I didn't have one moment pop up, but moments that were similar and that got stronger, I would say, at the end of the year. Our major challenge is that we welcome the baby that has many sleep issues and basically wakes up very often through the night, needs support to fall asleep again. And sometimes also the naps during the day were complex. It's an entire story. I think I could really record a podcast episode to help parents challenge with sleep on how I dealt with it. As a coach on how I work, this is how also I go through my life. I really connected to my intuition to see what he needed, how I can support him best, and not just seek outside advice, especially when you feel okay, everyone does that, but it doesn't land fully in your body. So that has been a journey in itself. Let's keep it by side for now. So if I go to the hardest moments, I have several ones. I remember one when I came back from a trip to Argentina, and we were extremely tired, extremely tired. And I remember the day after landing, I just cried, like just I couldn't stop crying. And just all the emotions come up. I was so tired. It was beyond anything. And that happened and got deeper at the end of the year, where I reflected back, but probably it was almost more than 10 months of difficult nights. So at some point, like you just accumulate the lack of sleep, even though there were moments where we sleep better, moments where we had support. But I remember also having friends coming over, and I wasn't able to help the baby fall asleep in the evening. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And just having the tears rolling down, or just being by myself, trying to support him doing a nap, and then I couldn't, and then I went out and I was just putting him in the stroller, hoping he would fall asleep, and he fall asleep in the stroller, just having the tears rolling on my cheeks. Whoa, this is so hard. So that's really the darkest hours, if I can say so, were really sleep related, like trying to help my baby sleep, managing or not to make him fall asleep, but being myself impacted by the sleep interruptions. This has been the most physical journey I've ever lived, like going through that. Also, I decided to breastfeed, so that's taken also a lot of your energy. It felt running a marathon without the resources, without water, without food, without preparation. Whoa. And you can't take a break. Like, you cannot say, oh, I'm just tired, I'm going to stop, I'm not going to run the entire marathon. And it's a marathon that never ended. That was the really the feeling. So if I say what got me through it, the support I got, even though we still had to do the work, but I would say first the incredible support from my husband, the support from my family, from my mother, especially being able in some moments to have support, even though, yeah, we still had to go through the night, and knowing that also I am not alone in this experience. I'm part of a group of mothers who also got a baby in the same month as I did. So I could relate to others having also sleep issues, others who didn't, but others who had like these issues. So knowing this is an experience other people are doing. So that's an interesting takeaway also for you. Do you feel alone in what you're experiencing? And I'm saying that beyond motherhood. And yeah, do you feel connected in this experience? It doesn't change the experience. And yes, it does change the experience. Yes, it's still the same. Like the fact is, you don't have the sleep you need, though you're not alone in this experience. It gives strength to go through it. And what really helped me also is every time having hope by trying to find solutions. I reached out to several people, several techniques, and though it was not I got the support, it worked. It was every time working on some aspect of his issues, but every time it gave me hope. And I'm happy I didn't know what was going to happen, because if at the beginning of the year I would have known, oh, this is going to last for at least 13 months, I would have been like, oh, I'm unable to do that. But in the end, you are able to do it, because this is life. You have to go through it. You cannot stop. So support has really been the major thing that helped me. And also every time trying to shift my approach of it, waking up in the middle of the night, breathing in, breathing out, holding my baby, connecting to him, and knowing this is temporary. And maybe one day I will miss all these moments with him. Not the sleep deprivation, but this proximity and what we were living in that moment. If I go to the next question, an unexpected source of strength. What surprised me about my own resilience, and was there a capacity I discovered in myself that I didn't know was there? Before having a baby, like I knew sleep is super important for me. If I have slept well, I can do anything. But if I don't sleep well, then I am like, yeah, my mood is not good. So you have to imagine the experience I've had is big. I'm surprised I was able to go through it, survive, if I can say so. And I would say a capacity I discovered is really working on still enjoying the moments I had and seeing the preciousness of the experience. And here I'm not saying just about sleep, because it's hard to see the preciousness into that. But of course, it was the full experience of motherhood. I was not only sleep deprived, I was also joyfully in love with my baby. There were so many moments, and trying every time to go into the moment and not into the future, into the past. And that helped a lot. Also, with a child, they bring you back to the present. So being with him and not trying to like add onto the hardness as much as I could with my mind and all the worries, and I can't do this anymore, even though there were many moments where I was at that point. But as much as possible, I tried to change my mind, do mindset work, so that I would see this experience differently. It made it lighter and easier to move through it. So a capacity I discovered in myself I didn't know was there, the ability to survive and to live being sleep deprived. I didn't know one could be so sleep deprived and still kind of function. Of course, I was not highly functional, but I was functioning and I still had beautiful moments with friends, with family, with my husband, with my baby, with my clients. So there were moments of surprising energy, if I can say. Life still could be enjoyed. Not all the time, but there were also many beautiful moments. If I go onto the body's journey, how did the relationship with my body transform through pregnancy and this first year of postpartum, and what did my body teach me? I'm like, to any mother who wants to go back to exercising after giving birth, not immediately after, but like when your body's ready, I'm like, wow, you need to see how courageous you are. I remember after 6 weeks starting to do light exercise, very adjusted exercise to post-birth, post-pregnancy. And I am someone who has always exercised, who before being pregnant and even while the pregnancy, in a lighter way, I would practice every day exercise, like 30 minutes or 6 days out of 7. So exercising is part of me, and I exercise until the day of labor. I was swimming in the pool, of course, slowly, but still, I was in movement all the time because movement is super important for my health, well-being, balance. And I decided to start again after giving birth. Again, very slowly, just 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes every 3, 4 days. And I was like, wow, I feel my body has never exercised in his life. It's not possible. I couldn't recognize my body. And it took so much determination to exercise again, so much faith. I remember doing the exercises, watching online videos from a program I had purchased, and I was like, oh, this is just too hard. That was the feeling. This is too hard. And I believe it may maybe go back into when people never exercise and start exercising in their life. And there I needed so much strength. Also, the context from my previous answer, also sleep deprived and also breastfeeding my baby. So a lot of energy also going into production of milk, food for my baby. I was like, every time I was like putting play on the video, doing the exercise, like, I want to give a medal to any woman who after birth, whenever she's ready, starts again to exercise. You are a champion. You are a champion. Even more, birth can happen in several ways and can be traumatic for the body. So consider yourself as a champion. Really. You cannot criticize yourself, especially if you see you had or you still have challenges after to exercise properly. I'm like, I so understand you. I so understand you. This is hard. Basically, this is hard, and you already probably don't have much time for yourself. You don't have much energy. Your body's recovering, and then like you try to make it healthy or back into balance again. Like you don't have the best pillars to help you, and you still try it. So that's, I would say, how my relationship to my body has evolved. Around a question now around identity. Who did I have to let go of being in order to become a mother, and what emerged in that space? Oof. As you listen to this podcast, I have a business, a coaching and healing art business. I've been in like for more than 6 years in business, supporting clients. When you have your business, if you have it, but if you don't, like you have to be super proactive, dedicated, hard worker, I would say also. It doesn't mean it's hard all the time, but you need to work, like you need to put effort for things to emerge. And you need, of course, to have a kind of productivity, being able to produce, to create. And when I say have to, it doesn't mean it's hard. Like I love to create, like I love to create my podcast episodes, but still you have to do it. If you decide it, there is work behind and there is creation and an output behind. And my first year of motherhood, and that also already happened during the pregnancy, as you can hear in episode 7, I will share the links. So that's why I say pregnancy is a beautiful prolongation, at least for me, for postpartum. I remember I was at the middle of the year, so 6, 7 months in being a mother, and I really thought I was very critical of myself, but not aware of the context. I was not really openly criticizing myself, but feeling not productive. Especially we are, most of us on social media, and then you see, oh, this other friend or colleague or I don't know, the coach for me saying, oh, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. And especially in that space where there is a need for self-promotion, like we need also to promote ourselves so that people maybe want to have the same experience we have, or at least show them inspiration, show them what is possible for them. And that's perfectly fine. But it's not fine when we use it as a way to compare ourselves. And that's what happened to me. And as I watched social media, I was like, wow, this is interesting because I could see myself seeing this. And from that, getting a sense of, wow, I'm not productive, I'm not moving forward in my life. That was also a super interesting experience because in that moment, I told myself, now again, you have a sense of what some of your clients experience of feeling, oh, I'm not where I should be in my life at the moment. I'm still not there at my age. I would have expected something else in comparing ourselves. So I so hear you if you are having that experience. I hope what I'm going to share now is going to help you change your perspective. So for me, really, I had that moment of down of I'm not going to achieve anything this year that is meaningful to me because I'm not in a meaningless productivity dynamic. That's not who I am. But having a baby and also deciding on how I wanted to take care of my baby, which I decided to scale down to part-time work for his entire first year of life. And I had less time to move forward with my soul's business, like with something that is super meaningful for me. And in the, yeah, I would say every year in my life since I have a business, but I would say also in a certain way before, I always tried to achieve something meaningful, something that felt like, oh, I'm moving forward in my life. It didn't happen every year, but it has been always a pursuit. And especially since I'm business and in the business I am, self-actualization work, I have clear goals at the beginning of the year of experiences I want to live, moves I want to do. And that year has arrived mid-year. Whoa. Looking at my business, I was like, I didn't achieve anything, or I didn't achieve much. And it's so crazy because I had that feeling, I stayed with it, and then a bit later on, I actually came back to where my parents live and I had some support and could sleep a bit more in the mornings, like we had put things in place. And suddenly I started to have a bit more energy back. And as I felt better and support, and it took a long time, it was like 1 month until I suddenly said, oh, wow, I start to feel myself again. I start to feel myself again. And that sensation, I was like, oh, wow, I hadn't that sensation for months. Like, I think it was even pre-pregnancy. That feeling, suddenly I was like, Gloria, how can you judge yourself? You completely forgot the context. I was judging myself for feeling unproductive. But Gloria, see the context. You weren't aware of how much sleep deprivation was impacting you and your ability to do something. And that helped me tremendously after I had full compassion. I was like, Gloria, just realize what sleep is doing to you. And I wasn't aware of it before. I wasn't aware of it. Crazy, huh? Maybe you hear it and you're like, it's obvious, but we need all to make the experience until we get that awareness and understanding. So here I was like, okay, Gloria, you cannot judge yourself. Given the context of sleep deprivation, learning also a new skill that being a mother, it's a full year of learning, especially I believe the first year of motherhood. Like you need to find a new balance in your couple, in your entire family dynamic, in your work, like it's impacting every area of your life and in the relationship with yourself, the time you have for yourself. So big readjustments are happening all at once in all the area of your life with someone needing you full time. So that I know now, I can say it, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of the big changes I was going through. So depending on where you are at, if you happen to feel a certain way about yourself, check a bit the context around you. What's the context? Are you supported or not? What's your energy level? What do you expect from yourself? What is happening in your life? Maybe that is not visible, but it's still moving. Maybe it's not the things you expected. And for me, I know this first year of motherhood, many things have evolved and moved through me, but that were not visible. I couldn't, even many times I wanted to write a post about an experience I had as a mother to help, as usual, to help people around me, the people who are my soul's clients, soul's people generally. And I was like, oh no, I don't even have the time to write it down, post it. That was really, yeah, I was sad also for that. But here we are. Now I'm doing this podcast and I can finally start sharing the fruits of all these seeds that have been planted last year for me, at least in this first year of motherhood. So I feel I developed self-compassion, if I make it simple. And I had to let go of the identity of the dynamic, creative entrepreneur I was. And I am still, but now you add another layer is I am also a mother. So I need, and I'm still learning to change the way I work. The kind of person of, it's also my human design profile. There are moments where I'm like, whoa, there is a burst of energy, dynamic. I go full in, I create, it happens, and then I take a break. That's a bit the manifestor energy if you're a manifestor. And you can have it as a manifesting generator as well. And of course, it would require detailed analysis of your profile. And you can do that by booking an appointment specifically around your human design with me. Like I offer human design readings. So that's the identity I had to let go of. And it taught me a lot about how the work of motherhood or parenthood is not valued and invisible. Because if around me the society would value what we are achieving and doing and being, becoming a parent, I would have seen the immense work I've done. I would have seen like the self-mastery level it has required for me to be in a sleep-deprived state and still being as much as possible emotionally attuned with my baby, being kind, being there for him. That's, for example, one example of what I had to develop. And I'm like, Gloria, look at it. Like, that's big. Or just seeing what it means to take care of a baby who is 100% relying on you. I had a friend who doesn't have kids who said, wow, it's a 24 hours job. I was like, yes, especially for us with a baby who wakes up still like at that time every 2 hours, 3 hours. So it never stopped. And that's something I really want to bring forth as something super important for society, is really valuing the mother role, valuing the parent role, not only valuing professional achievements, because yeah, I would not probably have had that perspective on myself. So what emerged in that space is a much more intuitive person. Because I didn't mention it, but I've been, at least I didn't mention it in this episode so far, but I've mentioned it in my 2025 review that you can listen to, where I talk about how I developed my intuition becoming a mom. And that's a big gift. Many of us, we do courses, we read books to how can I develop my intuition. But I had a perfect space to practice it daily because, as I said in the review episode, like a baby doesn't speak, so you need to be in tune with intuition to understand, okay, what does he or she need right here, right now? And the practice was possible every day. And my intuition, thanks to that experience, has gotten incredibly stronger because I see it now. I was already working a lot with my intuition, especially how I coach, how I work with the clients I support. But now it got even stronger. So many times I'm like, something happens in the day, I'm like, this is going to happen, or I'm going to get asked that question. This person is going to come. You might meet that person. It's incredible. Like for me, that's such a gift because the people who inspire me the most are people who are moving with intuitive intelligence. That's one of the highest level of intelligence. And we know it like in every major shifts in society, discoveries, it started with an intuition. After, it could be backed up with logic, with proofs. But intuition is a major part of being a human being that has been completely disregarded, and we are disconnected from them because of the activity of our minds. And especially the people who are in my world who have very active minds, and where the mind, and I'm including myself, can bring us like onto different paths and start question so many things that in the sensation of the body, there was a sense of clarity, but we lose it as we go up into the mind. It's like being much more in tune with my intuition is a major gift. And what has emerged from that, probably a more, not probably, surely also a more feminine way of moving through life. Logical, because when you're a mom, you are activating that feminine side. And that is a beautiful gift for me also as a business owner, because this is also something I've been looking forward to develop more and more. And I have already developed more, and it got just stronger with that experience. Then a question around asking for help. When did I finally allow myself to receive support? And what made it possible? What was hard about it? So I am in an industry that is all about support. If you are a coach, you are supporting people. If you do energy work, you are supporting people. So if I had a problem myself with asking for support, it would not be coherent with the work I do, because basically I'm supported in my business, I'm supporting people, like I need myself to live that. So I feel asking for support, it was clear from the beginning. I already had a plan on, okay, after birth, how will I get support? So I had a plan really around that, but I know for some people it's hard, and you don't always have the people around you to support you. And especially we don't have as expats, we don't have our families around. So it's like there parentheses of support when we are close to our family that we enjoy highly. But I'm quite clear on asking for support. But still, I need to reflect a bit more. I would say what was hard about getting support, and that's really, I think, for an experience many first time parents, mothers make, is as you get support, sometimes it's not the support you want, or you feel like it's great to have support, but you would like to have more space, you yourself with your baby. It can be very concrete. I don't know, your parents are over, and they start, maybe they, but not intentionally, they criticize, okay, maybe you should not do it like this, I think in a different way. And with all these voices around you, you need to work around still hearing your voice and trusting it. That's also something my clients know it. We work around that as support to really go into realignment in your life, professionally also. So it's like about hearing your voice when you have many voices around you, and trusting yourself, because you are the person knowing best what's good for you. And in that stage, for example, of motherhood, it's like you are the person who knows best what your baby needs, as you're in tune with your intuition. Even though people around you might have more experience, like your parent, they already had kids because they had you. Can you trust yourself more than anyone else? That's a question I ask you in also other episodes that is key to me. Can you trust yourself more than anyone else? Especially if the other people, are very confident and you are less. And confidence is something that builds with experience. So it's normal that you don't have that level when you start in parenthood. Like, you never did that. So be compassionate also. One last question, something around love. Can I describe a moment when love felt so big it almost frightened me? And what did that opening feel like? I'm like, why is this question phrased also with something negative in it? I was like, finally, can we have a question that is only positive? What the moment where love felt so big that I could like bath into it, that it almost frightened me. Okay, maybe I ask these questions for growth. So I'm going to keep it. I like love has really been, I think, the topic of also my postpartum. I didn't have that in the pregnancy because you haven't met yet your baby. And that is one of the emotion that has grown and grown over the year. And the most beautiful emotion I still experience almost every day is like that experience is for me probably the reason why many parents say the experience of parenthood is transformative and is one of the most beautiful gifts in their life, is this immense love that suddenly enters in your life. And I say suddenly, it can grow like gradually. That was the case for me. It was not like from day one, fall in love. It grew as I met the personality and who is my baby and had more and more experiences and moment with him. So that's really this feeling of love so deep, so big, so nourishing. That's really the gift. And to place it almost like it almost frightened me. Of course, when you love someone so much, what happens? You're afraid to lose him or her. With big love comes big vulnerability. With big love comes big vulnerability. That's in a relationship, in any relationship, like a loving relationship, and also the relationship with your children. So vulnerability, suddenly it's like something can happen to him, can happen to us, but especially can happen to him, and then having scenarios of things happening, and that's the hardest part. But it's about us as human beings. That's part of who we are. We are love, and we are vulnerable and fragile. We are strong, and we are, yeah, fragile. That's really the frightening aspect about this experience that is living on the earth. So those are the big summary of the questions I received. It's like just a few important questions. And then I have also more detailed questions because, as you might know, if you've listened to other episodes, I'm working on a new mother's oracle deck. So it means like I'm creating healing artwork, which is my creation. So every artwork I do holds really the capacity to shift energy and frequencies. And I do that around specific topic. And for that, of course, I rely on the experiences I've gathered from other mothers, my experience, my knowledge, so that I can create a card deck that can support mothers. So that's also one of the reasons why I'm working and reflecting a lot around that experience of motherhood. And also, as I said at the beginning, is to integrate the gift of the last year, and that can be for you too. We need to reflect and see who we've been. I've said that also in other episodes, and we need to see the learnings so that we can integrate them, see the gifts, see what we've developed to integrate it and use it. Because I don't want this experience to be just something non-important, because it is not. And this experience is now something about who I am, who I became. And I will also, of course, help others with that experience. As you do with your own experiences, you can help other people. That's the gift of life. Other questions, as I said, that were asked also more about this idea of oracle creation. I can't reveal too much because it's still in the making. The different topics and the structure I'm going to use for that oracle. Let me check if there are some questions that I would like to add. So here are a few questions that I like that were asked also around integration. And it really goes hand in hand with what I've shared. And these questions that also you can use. What medicine did I embody this year? I will read them out loud so you can have them all adjusted. For me, it's what frequency did motherhood activate in me? You can use your own project, whatever professional project, personal project, what did it activate in you? And I say frequency, but you can use something else. What did it activate in you if it's easier? If this year had a title, what would it be? Oh, I love that question. What symbol represents my journey? So let's see how I answer these questions. What medicine did I embody this year? I believe love, compassion. Every time it was harder, I really connected to the love I felt for my baby. As I say it, I do it. And as I connect to that energy of love, I let it like expand and just feel this pure love and bath into that love, and not being just love for my child, but love also for us, like for me. Tune into that energy of love. As I have it for my baby, I can expand it and benefit from it. And then the other medicine I said, also growing even more the self-trust. My self-trust, you know it if you've heard my birth story. That's another episode. Highly recommend to listen to it. It's an interesting story to hear that can activate also resources in you. So yeah, self-trust, love, growth of self-trust, growth of intuition, growth of compassion, and really much more wisdom about parenthood so that I can understand even better my clients who are parents, and especially mothers. I'm like, you are champions. If you didn't know it, you are champions. Really, you are champions. And what frequency did it activate in me? I feel it's related. It's really this feminine frequency and the mother in me, very simply. The mother that I didn't know I was, because you only discover it as you become a mother. And that deep listening that I already have for my clients, they know it. But of course, now for my child, this attunement, this desire to be there for him, the presence. And if this year had a title, what would it be? If this year had a title, wow, I need to reflect on that question. Sacred growth, hard, challenging growth as well. Initiation, big initiation into motherhood. Maybe I will have a title that will come up later, but these are keywords. And what symbol represents my journey? I did actually do a drawing that I call Mama Magic. That's also going to be part of the oracle. And that's really the symbol for it, the drawing. I'm going to take the t-shirt because I asked for it to be embroidered, and I will show it to you so that you can understand. Wait a second. I am back with the drawing. So it's my drawing and it has been embroidered on a t-shirt. And I hope you can see it. Yes. Let me bring it closer. So as you see, it's a t-shirt where you see a heart. That's the love, and that's where everything grows, and it's a tree. And that's the ability of mothers to grow like a tree, new plants, and those are the babies, like a symbol for the babies. And these plants are special because it also looks like a flame, the yellow, because we grow life, aliveness, and these flames that represent the children. So it's like this ability, and of course, like the earth, the tree, like we are the connection between the sky, if you want to say so, the souls that are not incarnated, and we bring them to the earth and we birth them literally. So that's the magical ability of a mother, birthing, giving a life. So that's the drawing that I created intuitively. And after I looked at it, I was like, of course. And as you've seen on the drawings, like I wrote Mama Magic because that's true magic. If you like the t-shirts, you can purchase one. That's a part of another project I haven't talked much about, and that was a trial, this t-shirt, because I really wanted mothers to feel proud about themselves, to be celebrated. And that's why I created a t-shirt so mothers can celebrate themselves and see how incredibly powerful and the impact they're just having on this earth. Like, it's incredible. So recognizing your magic. As a mother, you can also, of course, gift it to a friend who became a mother. That's a meaningful gift to help her remind the wonders she's creating every day, even when she feels like extremely tired, when she's like exhausted, as I have been in some moments of, many moments also of last year, is hey, see, even if you don't feel great, you're a magic in action and movement. So, what did you take from that sharing? Will you sit down? Highly encourage with all these questions. I will put a link so you can like copy and paste them and complete them. If you desire to send me the answers, if that helps you to do the exercise, do it. I will love to read it. Take the time so that you can integrate, see the wisdom, the experience you've gained, even though it's maybe not classically recognized by society, as is the role of motherhood, at least not yet fully today. And I hope that this work I'm doing will contribute to it. And it also starts with us as mothers to have the awareness of how magical we are. That's also why I did this drawing and created that t-shirt. Oh, and I forgot something super important. As you might know from my podcast, every 2 sessions approximately, every 2 episodes, I do a coaching session. It's a free recorded coaching session. You can participate and benefit from it anonymously. So you just have to complete a form. I will put the link in the show notes. And then you can basically benefit from free coaching. This has a lot of value. And you just need to accept for it to be recorded and enjoy then the magic and the support it gives you to your life and the inspiration, of course, also for other people. Many thanks. So I wish you a beautiful integration and I see you in a future episode. Bye bye. Thank you for joining the inner space. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with someone who might need exactly this encouragement. And until next time, keep exploring your inner space, where authenticity sets you free.